Hello everyone, welcome to In the Trenches, Kroll's weekly threat intelligence briefing. My name is George Glass, and joining me today from the Threat Intel team is Ryan Hicks and Ethan Athelry. This week we are covering the FortiWeb 0 Day, Microsoft Patch Tuesday, some DANABOT news, some updates from Operation Endgame, a critical vulnerability in EXPR eval, and also in the sudo rs utility. And we also have coverage on AI-made VS Code extensions that have some ransomware capabilities. So let's start off with FortiWeb. FortiWeb on Friday announced that there was a 0-day vulnerability being exploited in the wild. That is being tracked as CVE 2025-64446. There was some chatter about this prior to that amongst the cybersecurity community, and it does appear that this vulnerability has been exploited in the wild. The FortiWeb versions are there on the screen. It's essentially a path traversal vulnerability, which may allow an attacker to execute admin commands on the system via crafted HTTP or HTTP requests. It is undergoing large-scale opportunistic exploitation in the wild. If you follow our report, there's a link to a Watchtower Labs report with details on how to replicate the vulnerability and the exploit. Additional proof of concept code and exploit attempts are also detailed in there by SANS. That POC can be used to create a new admin user, giving an attacker full control over the FortiWeb application. So therefore, we are recommending that this vulnerability is patched immediately. Next up, Microsoft Patch Tuesday. We have 68 issues addressed, and one of those is a 0-day. 29 privilege escalation vulnerabilities were addressed. 16 remote code execution vulnerabilities, and that 0-day is CVE 2025-62215 with a CVSS score of 7. That's a Windows kernel elevation of privilege vulnerability, and according to Microsoft, a concurrent execution using shared resources with improper synchronization, aka a race condition, in the Windows kernel allows an authorized attacker to elevate privileges locally. That is being exploited in the wild, but no additional information was shared about that one. More information on the other vulnerabilities can be found in our report, but we've got a lot to get through this week. So for now, I will hand over to Ryan to take us through some of these other bulletins. Over to you, Ryan.
Thanks, George. So first up is at the top here, DANABOT. So DANABOT developers recently announced on their Telegram channel that the malware has undergone a complete code revision, which they note works 4 times faster and is more stable. This follows a quiet period after the initial phases of Operation Endgame, which saw law enforcement actions shut down many popular information stealers and other malware families, including DANABOT. The update is stated to include a higher anonymity through the use of Tor, more accessible file management for data collection, and a new file infection installation method, although it remains to be seen what exactly that is referring to just yet. The developer also hinted at another upcoming update that included new HVNC and plans for a new crypt AI. We'll continue to monitor closely for any kind of further updates. And also the latest DANABOT C2 IOCs we've included in the report itself, so go have a look for those. And secondly here, I mentioned Operation Endgame. Europol recently announced the latest phase of Operation Endgame has taken place, coordinated from their headquarters in The Hague. They noted that these actions in this phase targeted one of the biggest information stealers, RHADAMANTHYS, the Remote Access Trojan VENOMRAT, and the botnet ELYSIUM, all of which playing a key role in cybercrime worldwide. In total, over 1,025 servers were taken down worldwide, and 20 domains were seized. The removed infrastructure consisted of hundreds of thousands of infected devices containing millions of stolen credentials, with the main suspect who was arrested had access to over 100,000 crypto wallets belonging to victims. And next up, just returning back to a few vulnerabilities. So first up here is CVE 2025 12735, a critical vulnerability with a CVSS score of 9.8 in the popular EXPR eval JavaScript library. The library itself is used to parse user-supplied maths expressions at runtime, which can be used in various tools and applications, including things like kind of online calculators, financial tools, used alongside natural language processing. It has a high user count being downloaded from npm over 800,000 times per week, so a very popular package affected. And the vulnerability allows an attacker to craft variable objects for passing into the evaluate function, and that triggers code execution. And developers using the library recommended to make sure that, firstly, proper validation of input is in place, which would help to mitigate, but also to update to the patched version of this library to sort of fully mitigate against that particular vulnerability if it's in use. And last up here on screen, two vulnerabilities have been discovered in the open source Rust sudo rs, which shipped in Ubuntu 25.10. If exploited, they could lead to local disclosure of passwords or local authentication bypass. There does not appear to be any CV numbers or CVSS scores just yet, so unknown on those for now. The software is Rust-based alternative, essentially, to the normal sudo package that many users will be familiar with. The vulnerabilities have been fixed with the version you see on the screen down there. So it's recommended that organizations update to this version. There are few details really additionally to what I've mentioned. No reported exploitation in the wild just yet, nor reports on how to exploit the vulnerability with any sort of proof of concept code. However, since a patch version is available, threat actors are likely to reverse the vulnerability using the source code update, so potential for exploitation in the near future. That's all for me, George.
Thank you very much, Ryan. And now over to Ethan.
Thanks, George. The Visual Studio Code extension named susvsex was discovered in the official Visual Studio Marketplace with ransomware and data stealing capabilities. Identified by Secure Annex founder John Tuckner, the extension was classified as vibe-coded, meaning it may have been created using generative AI, evidenced by traits like extenuous comments, placeholder variables, and an overall sloppy implementation. Upon installation or launch, the extension was designed to automatically activate zip, upload, and encrypt files. However, it functioned primarily as a proof of concept since its target directory was configured only for test staging, and the code accidentally included decryption keys and tools. The extension deployed an unusual command and control mechanism by pulling a private GitHub repository for commands in index.html and writing execution results back to requirements.txt. Crucially, a hard-coded GitHub personal access token was bundled within the extension, which inadvertently exposed traces of the developer's environment, identifying the GitHub user Akon MV located in Azerbaijan. While Microsoft eventually removed the extension, its publication raised concerns about how threat actors are experimenting with AI for malware generation. Thank you, George.
Thank you very much, Ethan, and thank you also to Ryan. That's all we have time for this week. If you have any questions or comments, please remember to contact us at cti@kroll.com. See you next week. Have a great day.